Good morning. Welcome to our PPP module coursework discussion. We'll be discussing case studies 4 and 8. My name is Joan Bantu. I'll be introducing case study 4, and the members of this group are given in slide 2, and the contents of the case studies that will be following. The key topics will have the introduction and the initiation of the case study, the conventional PPP cycle that was followed, the challenges in using the PPPs as a service option, success factors, and the lessons learned for future projects, and a conclusion. For our case study 4, it was in Salt Lake City in Kolkata. The overview and objective: the Salt Lake Water Supply and Sewage Network case study details a public-private partnership initiated by the government of West Bengal to develop essential water supply and sewage infrastructure in Sector 5, Calcutta, which were lacking and ill-organized. The context: the existing industrial units relied heavily on individual tube wells for groundwater and lacked proper sewage facilities. It was a greenfield model since it involved constructing water supply and sewage facilities under a build, operate, transfer model from scratch to support the area's growth as a premier IT hub. It should be noted that at the time, Sector 5 was developing at a rapid speed with IT firms. But key to note was that there was no universal water supply and sewage facilities. So the government of West Bengal, through its arm of the Calcutta Municipal Development Authority, in conjunction with the Navandiganta Industrial Township Authority, came together to form a public-private partnership with private investors that could build a universal water supply and sewage facility in the area. The area was 300 acres. A private developer was selected through a competitive process and formed a special purpose vehicle named Navandiganta Water Management Limited. The special purpose vehicle was responsible for part financing, designing, constructing, and operating the system, including water purchase, billing, and collection for a concession period of 30 years. The private investors were also granted permission to charge a tariff, and my colleague Angela will take it from there with the PPP cycle that was followed.
Thank you so much, Joanne. In this case study, the PPP cycle that was followed, we have procurement planning, we have bidding evaluation, contract award and negotiation, then contract implementation. Under procurement planning, it involved identifying the need for the modern infrastructure, as mentioned earlier, in Sector 5 Salt Lake City, and preparing a basic project proposal to engage the private sector for significant amount of capital, investment, and expertise. The bidding process in this case study, it followed a two-stage approach with request for qualifications, shortlisting 4 out of 17 bidders, and a request for proposals, evaluating the technical and the financial proposals. Under bidding evaluation, it focused on the 60-40 weightage for technical and financial criteria, ensuring that the technical takes 60 and then the financial 40, ensuring that only the qualified bidders with adequate construction, operation, and maintenance experience were considered, leading to the selection of Just Waters Consortium. Then under contract award and negotiation, it focused on reducing the initially proposed 48 rupees to 25 rupees through cost reduction measures like government offering free land and subsidies, also design optimization, which ultimately led to the signing of the conceptual agreement. Then under contract implementation, it involved the selected consortium to start the construction of the infrastructure starting May 2008, and also doing the post-construction activities for maintenance. Thank you so much, Jackie.
Jackie, you're muted.
Sorry, during this project implementation, a number of challenges were encountered as discussed below. There was challenges during land acquisition where there were delays. The primary challenge was the delay in land acquisition, leading to construction delays. Then there was also lack of pre-project feasibility. Initial assessment lacked depth, impacting early cost and design estimates. There was also a challenge with tariff negotiations. Determining a feasible and acceptable tariff required extensive negotiations with stakeholders. Then developing necessary infrastructure within the stipulated time frame was another challenge. Um, coordination and coordination and logistical issues delayed reservoir, pipeline, and sewage network construction. And then the other challenge faced was scope expansion, leading to increased project costs. Added infrastructure like upgraded sewage treatment increased project costs. And then managing environmental and social impacts like water pollution and community displacement was another challenge during the project. Approvals and permits, longer than expected time to secure regulatory approvals delayed progress. And finally, there was a challenge of coordination among stakeholders, including government, private partners, contractors, and community was challenging, causing delays and conflicts. Thank you so much. My colleague Yoboka Allen can take it on.
Thank you, Jackie. Mine is on the success factors. This project, the success of this project was not by accident, but it is attributable to various factors, more especially pre-project assessment. In view of this, the objectives were clearly stated. The government of West Bengal set out to upgrade Sector 5 of Salt Lake City of Kolkata as a technical hub of international repute. Another key objective was to supply an organized water supply and sewage system, which was clearly stated, and they wanted, of course, a quality which would make it more marketable, and it was properly presented to the private investors. In addition, there was a viable market, and this market was in the form of the market for water and sewage services was in the form of government institutions and private firms, and these were ascertainable. Additionally, there was the stakeholder involvement earlier enough, and this was consistent, and the stakeholders, in particular the IT firms, ensured that service charges were accepted. On top of that, there was sufficient government support, and this arose in the form of key concessions. These concessions were mainly free land, which was provided, and subsidies, which were also instrumental in making the project financially viable. Going forward, there was flexibility in the negotiations. This critical aspect of this success factor explains why design and scope were adapted in order to reduce costs, while at the same time maintaining quality, which underscored project sustainability. Lastly, there was from the investors, the technical expertise and innovations was provided for through flexibility, contrary to traditional public bodies, and this was evident under Nabakingita Water Management Limited. So the above factors contributed a lot towards the success of this factor. With that, I call upon my colleague Grace to take us through lessons learned in the project. Thank you.
Okay, so the lesson learned from the Salt Lake Water Supply and Sewage Network. The first one, you have conduct detailed feasibility studies. Through initial assessment, including feasibility studies, are essential to understand ground realities and set realistic expectations. Then the second one, we have ensure timely land acquisition. Addressing land acquisition issues promptly can prevent delays and budget overruns. Then we have enhanced government facilitation. Government agencies need to ensure streamlined process and consistent support to the private sector throughout the project life cycle. And another one, have engaged stakeholders early. Engaging stakeholders early, like engaging key stakeholders early in the project, can help in aligning expectation and ensuring child acceptance, hence the project long-term viability. Then the last one, we have establish clear risk allocation. Clearly defined risk sharing mechanism to mitigate, distribute, and ensure project stability. So in conclusion, the case study shows the critical roles of the PPEs in addressing infrastructure challenge in rapidly developing urban areas. Through the lessons learned, the project serves as a valuable model for the future PPEs, demonstrating how strategic collaboration can lead to successful outcome in the public service provision. That was all for the first case study. Let my colleague Maria start for the next case study.
Thank you very much, Tim, for the first case study. Our second case study relates to the Delhi Gwagon Expressway project, which was part of India's Golden Quadrilateral Initiative, which aimed to improve transportation infrastructure between the major cities. The key aspects in the projects were project overview. Under project overview, the project was intended to upgrade a congested 27.7 kilometer section of the national highway between Delhi and Gwagon into a 6x8 lane access controlled expressway to alleviate traffic congestion and enhance safety. The highway experienced high vehicular density with approximately 145,000 passenger car units per day in 2000, leading to accidents and pollution. PPP structure. The project was awarded a consortium of Jai Prakash Industries and DS Construction Limited on a build, operate, transfer basis for 20 years. This was the first build, operate, transfer project in India to be awarded on a negative grant basis, where the concessionaire paid an upfront fee of 61.06 crore to the National Highways Authority of India. The PPP project for the expressway connecting Delhi and Gurgaon was initiated as part of the Golden Quadrilateral project, aimed at enhancing transportation infrastructure across India's major cities. The National Highways Authority of India was tasked with this project due to increasing traffic congestion on the national highway, which experienced high vehicular density and safety issues. In the late 1990s, a detailed project report was prepared. By the 2000-2001, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways decided to upgrade the national highway as part of its capacity augmentation plan, identifying it as a priority corridor due to its significant intra-state and interstate traffic volume. That was the introduction of our case study 8. Now I'll hand over to Pamela to take us on the side of our PPP. Thank you.
My name is Pamela. I'll be taking you through the PPP cycle for the Delhi Gurgaon project, whereby we had different stages in this cycle. We had the inception, procurement, development, delivery, and the final exit of the project. In the inception stage, there was a need for an expressway, which was recognized due to traffic intensity on the national highway, which prompted the National Highway Authority of India to seek private sector involvement to fund and manage this project. Thereafter, we had procurement, where in 2001, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways invited qualification bids. The project was originally intended to require a capital grant from the National Highway Authority of India. However, bidders proposed negative grants based on the robust traffic projections. You see that in April 2002, a consortium of Japash Industries and DS Constructions was finally awarded the contract after offering a negative grant of 61.06 crore. Thereafter, there was development in the cycle, where we see financial closure, which was achieved in May 2002, and construction commenced in January 2003. We had delivery of the project. We see that the expressway was then commissioned in January 2008 and has since been operational above the initial traffic projections, handling over 1,080 passenger car units daily. We also, the last stage in the cycle was exiting, where we see the concession period, which was set for 20 years, concluding in January 11, 2023, at a point where the ownership was then finally reverted to the government. My colleague will then take you through the challenges in this program.
I am Betty Bagambaki. I'm taking us through the challenges for this very project. We have land acquisition issues, complexity of approvals, financial risk, design and scope changes, as well as operational risk. Under land acquisition issues, there were mainly delays for this very project because they had to shift structures, the spiritual structures physically. This actually increased the cost and delayed the operations of the project. Then we have complexity of approvals, where over 15 approvals were to be sought before the commencement of this project. Some of the agencies include Ministry of Defense, then Delhi Development Authority. This actually slowed the process of decision making. Then there is also financial risk, which was a requirement for private entities to achieve financial closure within the said time frame, especially during the initial stages. If this wasn't done, it definitely affect revenue for the project. Then there is scope and design changes. There were significant modifications which had to be made during this project. This actually increased the costs. Then lastly, operational risks. Once operational, the concessionaire bears the risk of maintenance and performance standards set by the government. Failure to meet these standards can lead to penalties and loss of revenue. Thank you. Over to you, Cindy.
Cindy, you're muted.
My name is Akawa Cindy, and I'll be taking you through the success factors that determine the potential completion and success of the project. Under the factors, we have clear regulatory framework, effective risk management, strong public sector commitment, financial viability, and stakeholder engagement. Under clear regulatory framework, a well-defined legal and regulatory framework is crucial for guiding PPP arrangements, ensuring transparency, and protecting the interests of both public and private partners. Under effective risk management, successful PPPs involve comprehensive risk assessment and allocation strategies that identify potential risks early on and assign them to the party best able to manage them. Under the strong public sector commitment from government entities, including timely approvals and support for land acquisition, is essential for maintaining project momentum and ensuring successful implementation. Additionally, we have financial viability. Projects must be financially viable from the outset with realistic traffic projections and revenue models that attract private investment while ensuring sustainability. And finally, we have stakeholder engagement. Engaging all stakeholders, including local communities, government agencies, and private partners, throughout the project lifecycle fosters collaboration and addresses the concerns that may arise during the implementation. And let me hand over to my colleague Isaac, who will take us through the lessons learned.
Thank you, Cindy. The lessons that were learned in the highway project were they were need to conduct detailed feasibility study, and this through initial assessment that include feasibility study and intention in another taking ground reality and realistic expectations. The other lesson learned was the need for timely acquisition of land, addressing land acquisition issues in time can prevent delays and budget overrun. The other lesson learned was the need for government participation. Government agencies needed to ensure streamlined private life cycle. There was also need to engage stakeholder management early now. Engaging key stakeholders early in any process can help in aligning the expectations and ensuring budget success, enhancing long-term viability. The last lesson learned was need to establish clear architecture. Clearly defined risk-sharing mechanisms to mitigate issues and ensure the stability was crucial. In conclusion, to this highway project, it was a brown and field site successfully overcame the challenges of delayed land acquisition and delays in approval by government agencies. Thereby, was able to achieve intended of enlarging the highway from 4 lanes to 8 lanes. Was also able to decongest the city, and lastly was also able to travel time from 5 minutes to 25 minutes. In general, the overall in our overall conclusion said the highway is well done by Nigeria highway was they were able to overcome the potential. I mean, they were able to overcome the challenges of public-private partnership development. Then effective implemented quite stakeholder management.